Let me show this runtime environment. On the continuation of our yesterday's class, we'll do a couple of mappings, and I fix Oracle issues, and we are good to start. Right. So just give me a minute. We'll go to the data integration service. So I have two connections configured. One is my flat file connection, another one is my Oracle connection. So let's get started. So in the data integration service, we need to click on new, and once you click on new, you get these options where you can choose your assets like mappings, tasks, maplets. So the first thing what we do is we go to mappings and we create a mapping. Click on create. So once you click on create mapping, you get these shapes which are by default, which are source and target. So let's talk about a scenario where let me open SQL Developer. One moment. So let me go ahead and create a simple mapping with customers load. I'll just put the name as customers load. I'll go to the source, and the mapping name is customers load. So I just take out this. This is a mapping name, and the customer this is a source. So we'll just make it as src underscore customers. I'll go to the source tab. And in the source tab, I'll choose a connection that I created for importing my source. So here you can actually maximize this window, and you can even minimize this. So this is to maximize so that you get a bigger view, and you can select your connection, which is Oracle source, and you can select your source once you get this option, and you can choose your table that you want to import. So click on select, and it would give you the list of tables available in your database. So this will come in a moment. So did anyone try installing the secure agent, and have you installed on your laptop?
Yes, I tried.
Okay.
So did you provide the instructions? I mean, yesterday I could not join the class. I mean, so I got the free 30-day trial setup, but I need to download and install the secure agent. So if you have any instructions, can you share so that we can do that?
Yeah, I'll share the instructions. I'll share the instructions so that you can follow the steps. It's pretty simple. You just have to go to the administrator service, and on the right hand, on the top right hand corner, you would see download secure agent, and you get two options. One is Windows, and another one is Linux. So if you are doing it on your personal laptop, right? I mean, you can choose the Windows one. So I'll provide the steps.
Okay. So also I did see an option that we can use the secure agent of Informatica cloud itself. How different is that? That means our metadata is going to be how different is that, having our own secure agent versus using the one which Informatica provides on cloud? Does it have any difference?
Yeah, so I've explained about that in my previous class. The reason is we have a secure agent which is behind the organization firewall, which is a local secure agent. and the entire data gets stored in the the secure region, which is kind of confidential, and it doesn't get exchanged to the cloud. So that's the reason we have a local agent. We don't use Informatica cloud hosted agent.
Okay, okay.
Normally, all the organizations, they would prefer to have a local secure agent.
Yeah.
So,
No, but for training purposes, can we use it? Because we're going to use the simple like sample schemas, like the Oracle HH schema or all these.
yeah, you can use training schemas. In fact, that is exactly what I'm doing right now.
Okay.
So I would appreciate if you could refer to the previous recording. That would help, so that
Okay.
we.
Yeah, I'll take the link and I'll do that.
Yeah, please do that. So that I don't want to disturb the flow here.
Yeah,
So
no.
customer table is what I imported, and you can even preview the data here. You click on preview data, you get the entire data that is coming from this table, customers.
But in real time also, is it that slow? I'm just asking at the client also, is it how I mean it takes I think that
No,
using
it
sample
is
data
not.
to shoot that long.
No, it's not that slow actually. My laptop had a Windows update, and sometimes the free trial accounts, right? The free trial accounts, you would see this delay. It doesn't happen real time. A lot of people access the free trial accounts, so sometimes you might see a delay there.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah, so this is how the data preview would work, and you would get the data of customers table. So I just did a data preview, and so we would we have two things here. One is, like on the left side you see a design where you get the entire transformation palette, and we can actually select a transformation, and we can drag and drop it here, or you can select the dotted lines, click on expression. For example, if we are doing expression transformation, we can just click on expression, and if you go to expression tab, and you can actually choose what to do, what you plan to do. For example, I'll connect to my database, and I'll just do a quick check on the table, and I would plan what to do. Like I have to modify the data, so I'll just come back here again in a moment. So in expression editor, and I just want everyone to understand this entire interface. How does it work? So when I just map the source to the expression, I get all the fields here, which include included fields and excluded fields. So why we get included fields and excluded fields? Because we get an option to add a rule. If you want to exclude your fields as part of performance measures, you don't want all the fields coming from your source, you can restrict them. Then how do you do that? You just click on add, and you have a default option which includes all the fields, so you don't have to touch that. Now in the include, if you just select this, and you have a drop down choice of exclude, and you can click on exclude and name fields. You get name fields, and you get field by data types, fields by text or pattern. So if I just select name fields, and if I want to configure, let's say if I just click on configure, this would actually ask me to select which fields you want to exclude. So by default I can select everything, and I can uncheck the ones which I want to include. For example, I want just only address one, and I want city. I don't want company. I want customer ID. I don't want email. I just need first name, last name. I need the state. Let's say I just need only these ones. So I'll just click on OK, so that I get only those fields in my expression transformation.
So Shiva, we can't write a SQL query to have only those columns that we need, or we need to go this way?
Yeah, that's correct. We can even do that. In the source qualifier, there is a source qualifier. I mean, there isn't any separate source qualifier in Informatica Cloud.
Okay.
And the source properties itself, you have query options, and you can actually filter. You can click on filter, and you can actually add a filter here, like customers, and you can actually select something like customer ID equal to some value, and you can just add a filter if you want to restrict the data, or you can even sort based on customer ID. You can do a sorting. You can actually do a sorting on this customer ID. So this is how it is, and you can actually put conditions here, and even you can select distinct rows, and even you can, in the advanced options, you have pre-SQL and post-SQL. Similar what you see in Power Center, you can actually write a pre-SQL and you can write a post-SQL, and also a SQL override, which is going to override your SQL query with a condition, let's say where condition, or you want to put in some columns, you can actually put some condition here. So for now, I'm just giving a simple scenario where a source and expression. So in the expression editor, let's say if I just go back to my database and if I just do a select star, okay, one moment, the font is too low. Let me increase the font.
Shiva, your voice is not audible, Shiva. Is it with me or with everyone? Shiva, your voice is not audible, Shiva. Guys, is it with me or with everyone?
No, even I thought that he's creating the mapping. He's not talking. I thought, but is he? I can't hear either.
Hello?
Yes, Shiva, now you are audible.
We can hear you now.
Okay, I'm audible now? Okay.
We-
Okay. So I was talking about the expression incoming fields. We have not taken city as included field. So probably we can just click on uh, this one and I can select city. City was unchecked. I mean, it was checked to get excluded. So I've added city as well now, and this would get come to your expression again. I mean, expression this configure. If I just click on configure, now I got the city, and I can actually do an ltrim rtrim on the city field to remove the spaces, to ltrim rtrim of the city. Just validate this so that it would remove the spaces. Okay, and I get this value and I can just load into my target. So target is, I can click on the target here and I can choose a connection, which is my same connection. I can choose Info SRC connection and I can click on select and I can create a target at the runtime. So what does that mean is, if you don't have a target that is existing, you can even create a target at runtime. So I can just name it as TGT expression customer. Let's say just this example. I just gave this so that I don't have to worry about field mapping. Field mapping is something where you are supposed to do the mapping for the existing target. But in this case, it doesn't apply because we are creating a new target. So this is a simple mapping with an expression transformation, like with the expression, and I want everyone to understand about different functionalities of expression. We can actually do a lot of input variable and input and output ports, where you can actually configure multiple things, wherein the similar built-in functions were included, which were part of this power center. Whatever the power center that you see, you get all built-in functions, and you get all functions, string functions, conversions, and you get a lot of things here where you can do the data manipulation at a row level. So expression transformation is a row level functionality. So you can actually do that, and you can load to the targets. So this is a simple mapping what I created. It's just loading my customers table into my target with a change, with with a expression that I'm just checking the city. I'm just naming the values. So once this is done, what I have to do is I just need to run this mapping. So I'll just click on run. So I just have to make sure everything's fine. So I'll just validate this. This is looking good. So I'll click on, the moment I click on run, this box would come up where it is going to prompt me to actually run this mapping, and it would pick up the secure agent that I have assigned here, which is my local secure agent. Do not select Informatica Cloud. You can select local secure agent Windows and click on run. So once you click on run, this would go in your My Jobs, in My Jobs panel, and you would see that this is starting. Actually, this is how it is. The status would come with starting, then queued, and then you would get running status. Then it would be completed, with the
So
rows.
like in Power
process.
Center, we need to create the session and workflow. We don't have to create the session, the task flow or something. We can run straight the mapping.
Yeah, this is a standalone mapping. What I have just run this, but we can even create a mapping task. I'll tell you about mapping task in a moment. So we have different different assets. These are called assets in cloud, where you have mappings. Like this is a mapping that I just created, and I also have tasks. Tasks are nothing but a mapping task where I'm going to associate a mapping to a task so that I can run the task. It's similar to your session in Power Center.
Okay.
But for now, I just ran a simple standalone mapping because I'm not associating a task to it. So this is completed. Okay, I got rows processes 0. Sorry, 11. 11 rows are processed in my target. So I'll just go to my target and I'll just do a select star from target expression cust. Okay, this was my target table. So this would have come with an expression, where I'm just doing I think, what was that? It was city, right? City, I just did a L3 matrim. So probably, this has come in this way. So this is a sample mapping which I did with the expression transformation. Now, if I just go back here in the explore option, and let's say I want to go to this, and I'll do a different mapping now, right? So I can just select this same mapping. I think where did I created this? Sorry, 1 minute. Oh, I created a default folder. Okay, so I'll go to default folder. If I want to move the mapping from my default folder to my actual project folder, what I can do is I can actually select this, and I can just click on this dotted lines and click on move to training, ISCS training, so that this component gets moved. Moving is like cut and paste. It is actually moving from one location and it's going to a different destination. Now, let's say if I have to do a mapping task for this, so what do I need to do? I just copy the same mapping name, and on the right hand side you see something called the dotted lines here, and click on new mapping task. So this is going to give you a different window, and you just give the name as empty underscore. Empty stands for mapping task. Just put it in lowercase. Copy paste this and select your runtime environment as the local secure agent. Click on next. And this is going to show you a schedule. This step number 2 is going to give you the details of scheduling. Like, if you want to run this on schedule or do not run this on a schedule, you can actually select that. And you can even use a custom email notification options. You want to give a failure email notification or a success email notification, something like, Visualpath at gmail.com. You want to just put it something, you can do that, to just trigger a mail on success. And similarly, we also have pre-processing and post-processing commands, which we'll discuss at a later point. And we also have, parameter files locations, and you can even download a parameter file template, which is, again, this is pointing to my secure agent where I have installed my secure agent. And you can actually select your execution mode as standard or verbose. Verbose is going to make too much of logging. So standard is the mode that is recommended, which is the default one. And you can even add advanced session properties where you have the session properties at different levels, like general options, performance settings, advanced, error handling. Depending on the business requirement, depending on your need, you can just modify this. So, but for now, we'll just create a simple mapping task. So I'll just click on finish. Oh, sorry, I think I had, let me use, that's fine. I'm not doing, just click on finish. So the mapping task gets created, the mapping task gets created. So this is a mapping task, which I'm supposed to run, which will have all the details. The advantage is you don't have to specify your secure agent every time when you run a standalone mapping. The mapping task is associated to your mapping. You have your location, you have updated time. In case of push-down optimization, you can select these options, and you have all these input parameters which are taken by default, and you can directly run this. Let's say if I just go here and go to my target, and if I want to truncate my target, I can just select this truncate target, just save this. So automatically, this whatever that I just saved in the mapping gets updated to the mapping task. I don't have to save the mapping task. I just have to do the changes at mapping level. I can just come back to my mapping task. I'll just run this, so that the job would trigger again.
You don't have to refresh the task once the mapping has been changed. It
Not
refreshes on
required.
its own.
Yeah, that's correct. Mapping task is associated to a mapping, so you don't have to worry about refreshing your task. Task is already done. That's a standalone thing. You just associate a mapping to it, and you just have to do the changes to your mapping. Automatically, this gets updated with the time. Update time is nothing but your mapping time. So if you go back to this again,
why would we create the mapping task?
sorry, your voice is not clear. It's breaking. Hello. I think I can't hear you. You are talking something.
Sure. What is the difference between standalone mapping and mapping task?
Standalone is something, what I would say is, if you're that doesn't work in real time. Actually, I'm just giving a namesake because
I created in the mapping task.
Hello. The mapping is, mapping is only for this. I'm just running this mapping because I just want you to understand we can even still run a single mapping. We don't need it to associate a mapping task, but that doesn't happen in real time. In real time, you associate a mapping to a task, and you run the task itself. Actually, you don't run a mapping directly. Okay, so and this is completed, and again, this is similar to what we just did. Where we created this mapping task, and again, if I just
one question, in mapping task, can we run multiple standalone mappings?
Yeah, you can do that. I mean, in a mapping task, you can't run multiple mappings. For one mapping task, you need to associate only one single mapping. To associate multiple mappings, you mean to say different pipelines? Or for example, in this mapping task, right, in the mapping, right, the mapping, I have a different pipeline. Like, I have a source. I can just drag a source and I can just drag a target, right? And I'll just link this. And this is a different pipeline. It's a different pipeline altogether. If I just click on source here, and this is a different pipeline. So this can be one part of the mapping. This entire thing can be a part of one mapping, which is supposed to be associated to a mapping task. Okay, so I want everyone to understand about when you run a mapping task, you would see that the jobs get run in your monitor as well. Apart from your my jobs panel that you see here, you can also see it in the monitor. But the only thing is, monitor, you will have your all jobs, you have your all running jobs and all jobs, right? You can actually look at all the jobs. You can just look at running jobs. You can see a lot of things here. So in data integration, you can actually create multiple things. So let's move on to the next scenario. If I just go to the explore, right? One moment, I'll just close this. So I want to create, let's say I want to create one more copy of this mapping. So I'll just select this, click on copy to.
Hello, sure. Actually, my question was the why we creating the mapping task?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I was disconnected.
Why we create a mapping task, I just explained you, right? I just explained to everyone about that. Why do we create a mapping task?
Okay, okay.
Because
Actually, I'm disconnected here.
okay, so let me explain that again. We create a mapping task because we need to associate, we give advanced properties. We can schedule a job, we can do a lot of things which are associated to that mapping. If you want to do some kind of pre-processing, post-processing, if you are from Power Center background, you would understand more better, right? Why do you need a task? It's similar to a session in Power Center. In session, you have multiple properties. You can actually choose what to do, in the session, right? Similarly, you get all this in this mapping task. You can if I click on edit, right? I get multiple things here. Like I get a schedule option. I get advanced properties. I can choose what to be done on the mapping. So that's the reason we create a mapping task.
Okay. Actually, I'm not from the Power Center background. That's
Okay.
why creating.
No problem. You just have to explore this. You just have to explore these options and start working on it so that you can understand everything in detail. You need to understand each and every component. Then you need to get into the details, like how does it work. So I was just coming back to this mapping. If I want to just make a copy of this, I just select this and I can just click on copy to. I'll just click on the same folder again, ASCS training, and click on select. Keep both, because this is going to give me a prompt that the mapping already exists. So this will keep a copy of it. So if I just go back to the mapping again, and let's say I want to do some other transformation. Like if I want to do some other transformation, I can just bring in the transformation here. Like for example, aggregator, right? Let's say aggregator. If I just bring in aggregator, you click on this one, it gets arranged in a proper format. In a proper format, it gets arranged, and you can actually in aggregate functions, similarly, the moment I map this transformation, I get the incoming fields by default, and I get the group by option. And I can actually do a group by. So if I am doing an aggregate function on this table, what exactly I have to do? Like I need to understand. So probably this may not be a right scenario, but again, I'm just telling you that. So we can create a new mapping, and we can work on some EMP table, and we can do an aggregate transformation. For example, let me create a new mapping, And let's say I take m underscore aggregate emp example.
Hi, Shiva.
Yeah.
So if you're going to run the mapping without the mapping task, so which secure agent it is going to use?
It is going to use your local secure agent. You need to choose a secure agent. If you're going to run the mapping alone, that would give you a prompt to either choose Informatica Cloud hosted agent or your local secure agent.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll come back to aggregator transformation, and in aggregator transformation, let's pick up a source here. So I'm going to choose my Scott connection here, Scott Oracle, and I'll select, let's say I select the EMP table, and I'll do some aggregate functions on this EMP table. If I just go to my Oracle connection, and we'll see that if we have to do some aggregate functions. So select start from. Okay, I get the salary columns and everything, right? So I can choose the total salary or average salary, whatever it is. I'll just select this EMP table as my source. So you might see some delay, in this, but it doesn't happen. Generally, it doesn't happen. So delay. Sometimes it may take some time to just read the source. Or if you click on preview data, I was telling about preview data. This is going to give you the data, similar what you see here, what you might have seen in Power Center as well. You see this preview data where you would have all the, column level data, and you get the entire information here. So in aggregate, what we can do is we get the incoming fields by default because I just mapped it there. You get all the include incoming fields and group by. For example, I want to do a group by, let's say, department number.
So Shiva, one question I have is that let's say you're building a mapping and your internet connection goes down. Is it auto-saving everything what you're doing, or are we going to lose that?
No, you're going to lose that if you do not save it. This is
Okay,
going
so
to
you
come back to you. So you always have to make sure as a best practice, you can save your work, because if you don't save, your work is lost.
Okay.
Even if it is an invalid mapping, that's not a problem. But again, whatever work that you have done, if it doesn't get saved, your work is lost. You have an internet issue and you're lost. You have to make sure that you save your mapping. See, I just saved the mapping, right? So even if it is an invalid, that's not a problem. You can always come back and you just make it valid.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So in aggregate functions, right? You just click on this plus icon and you get a prompt again to choose aggregate fields on what fields that you want to choose. So sometimes, what I would recommend is for everyone, sometimes you might see some delay, or, when you click on plus, sometimes it doesn't come up. But, please be patient enough. Sometimes, it doesn't work. Doesn't mean that, it's not working. But, this is all on internet, right? So it's on this completely, this UI is all, it's all like API driven, and it's all mostly happening through your connections, right? You have a secure agent and you do a connection also. So let me click on plus here once again. Group by icon and aggregate fields. Okay, once again, why I'm not getting this? No, aggregates fields. Yeah, just a minute. So let's create a target and we'll go back there. I can select created runtime. So I'll just select EMP aggregate. as a table, and click on save, so that you don't lose your work every time, and go back to aggregator group by.
Shiva, one question is that when it creates a target table on a fly, do we have option to define the primary key and all that when the target table gets created?
No, we don't have that option here. That doesn't exist here. Yeah, so I'll just come back to this O_salary. Let me put it as let's say decimal. I'll just put decimal here, and configure, and you can select the salary, and you see that in the built-in functions you would get the aggregate functions here. You can select max. I mean, I know that probably you are referring to something like a Power Center where when you create a mapping, you actually have a built-in thing right inside
Yes.
where you can choose your primary key, but that doesn't work here actually.
Okay.
It doesn't work that way. So you just have to click on max salary. For example, this is my max salary. I'm going to just choose. I'm just giving an example. You can add multiple ports as per aggregate, and just a group by department, and let me just save this. So once you save this, and if you just look at this target, right, that target I just created, the max salary with output ports, if you just look at the incoming fields in the target, you get even that output port that I created. See, I got O_salary as well. Apart from a salary, I also got O_salary. So, I mean, what I'm trying to explain to everyone is, let's not worry about the data here. Let's just try to understand the functionality. How does it work? So I'll just save this. And again, as a best practice, I create a mapping task so that if I have to do any changes, I can always go back to this mapping alone, and I can do the changes so that the mapping task would get reflected. It would get automatically synced up, and you can just run that. Click on new mapping task. And you can just run this mapping task here. Just name this mapping task as empty underscore. Just copy paste that mapping name that you picked up. And runtime environment, you always have to choose your local secure agent and click on next.
So Shiva, the scheduling details is at the mapping workflow level, right? Not at the task level. When we schedule this mapping to run at the predefined time.
Yeah, see, again, scheduling is something I have to click on, run this task on a schedule. Like I don't have a schedule right now. I can create a one. This is at a mapping task level.
The task
even
level.
at a, yeah, correct, at a task level. And even I can create a new schedule also. Like if I have to create a schedule, I can create a schedule name here, and I need to associate my schedule name. For example, I just do a test schedule, and I just give some description, and I can just actually select multiple options here. I want to start at so and so time, what time zone that I want to select, and I can select does not repeat or every n minutes, hourly, daily, weekly, and everything. I can select multiple ways, right? And you can actually do multiple ways. I keep telling, like, pre-processing, post-processing, and you can call a parameter. You can actually do a verbose mode to get the detailed log, advanced properties, and everything. We'll discuss about that later, but I'm just covering the basic stuff for now so that everyone can understand and everyone can relate to this, because not everyone are from Power Center background, so they need to understand the functionality before we actually move on to the advanced topics. So again, this is how the task is created. Yeah.
Yeah, Shiva, one doubt here. Actually, normally we have separate scheduling tools like Tidal and Control M. So if we develop any jobs in IICS, so can we schedule or monitor the jobs using those tools?
Yeah, you can do that. For example, if you have your job scheduled from Tidal, Tidal has a Tidal has an ISAS adapter, where they can have the jobs scheduled from Tidal, and the moment they trigger the jobs from Tidal, the jobs would run in your monitor.
Okay.
The monitor, you would see the jobs would be running. So that's how it is. Generally, third-party schedulers are used in Power Center. I mean, in Informatica Cloud as well, right? So we don't use, like, some companies, they use their own Informatica inbuilt schedulers, like the moment, I mean, the one that you just saw, right, within this task. Yeah. So we'll just run this mapping task, and again, I was telling about running jobs and all jobs, right? In the monitor, you also see this as running here, and similar to what you see in my jobs. Even in my jobs, you see that this would be running, or it might have completed. So you see a similar functionality, right? And this, you can actually choose multiple options where what you want to select. You want to select success rows. You can add success rows. You can actually you can select multiple things here. For example, success rows is here. Start time. It is getting sorted with the start time. For example, I want to I want multiple things here. I just drag this options and I get multiple things. And even in data integration, what you have to understand is there are multiple ways I can actually do a cut, copy, paste, and even you can do an undo. For example, I take an expression and I want to do this. I want to just map this here to this expression, but I want to undo this, right? I want to undo add link. I just click on undo. That gets, and if this is something redo is reading the add link again. So these are the options that you have here on this interface, right? And similarly, you get multiple things here in this dotted lines. You get a floor and order, validation panel, and everything. We'll discuss in detail about all that. So this is completed. We got 3 rows into my target. So let's say emp underscore aggregate. That's my table, I think. Sorry, I forgot the table name. One moment. So what was the table name that we had? The target emp ag, right? Okay. So I just did a simple select from emp aggregator, and I got this max salary from my output port. So please try to understand the basic functionality. How does it work for a mapping and a mapping task? We just we covered only expression and in the aggregator. We'll discuss about more transformations in our next class from Monday, right? So please please make sure that you download the secure agent and you have your secure agent up and running. Also, you can download your you can also install Oracle on your laptop so that you get the data. You get some sample testing data. You can do that.
Shiva, no class for tomorrow?
Tomorrow we're not having class. From Monday to Friday is what I've planned.
Okay. And Shiva,
depending.
One more request. Like the Excel sheet which you are using, is it possible to share that just for practicing?
You mean the source files?
Yeah, source files.
Okay, yeah. I have some Excel files, so I'll send it to you.
Yeah, sure. Shall I ping or you are sharing to everyone in the team?
Yeah. You can just ping your mail ID. I'll send your mail ID.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Sure. So anyone has any questions on the secure agent, because this has to be up and running. Every time, or if it is not running, you can't create connections. You can't work on anything.
Shiva, I'm not sure if my secure agent is up and running. Can I share my screen once? And
yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm checking how to share. Organizer has to make me presenter. Hello?
Yeah, just click on share screen.
Yeah, it is giving me that to share your screen. ask the organizer to make you presenter.
Okay, 1 minute. I'll make you presenter. I did that.
Okay. Now I think I'm sharing.
Yeah, you're sharing. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is my secure agent Shiva up and running, and this is stopped.
Okay. Is that configured in a different laptop?
No, same laptop.
Okay. But the other one is up and running, you said, right?
Yeah.
That is up and running and this is stopped.
This is what actually I'm not sure. This is a secure agent, right? First one.
Yeah, that is a secure agent that you configured. You downloaded the secure agent, you're able to configure. It's up and running. You can use that.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay.
Yeah, you can remove that, the other one which is not, which is stopped or which is not running. You just click on left side. You see something called delete secure agent. No, go back.
Okay.
Because I think I see it's a duplicate, I guess. Maybe a different one, different laptop.
Yeah.
Okay, and you can even delete the agent also. On the same thing, host agent. On the left hand side. No. On the left hand side. Yeah. Scroll down. Click on delete secure agent group.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
so
you
that
very much.
always you have to make sure that you just have one secure agent up and running. Do not keep multiple agents. It's only going to lead you into some kind of confusions, right? So just make sure you don't have multiple secure agents, and always make it a practice that it has to be up and running. If your laptop is shut down, you can't work on anything, right? So just make sure that you work on.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, and I'll share the documents to everyone. So please make sure if depending on the need, right? I'll take a session on Saturday, but not tomorrow again, but probably next Saturday we'll have a session to make sure that we are on track. Okay, thank you everyone for joining this session, and we'll meet up on Monday again. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, bye.